I was down at the Anthropy conference at the Eden Project last week, and it was so amazing that it's taken me all weekend to sort of unscramble my thoughts. And so I thought I'd do a little video post, like so many of my colleagues have already done on social media, with my reflections. And to me, the most amazing thing is how I saw the mood change from day one to then into day two. On day one, I felt many of my colleagues, whether they were from think tanks or charities or business organizations, they were really concerned about the more maverick type of leadership, what we're seeing on the other side of the Atlantic. But let's face it, we've got plenty of our problems back here at home. And what this is going to do to our progress on sustainability, driving net zero, and driving better and more inclusive organizations. And what was really interesting is that by day two, we were hardly having any of that conversation at all. On day one, I was hearing some of the names on the other side of the Atlantic mentioned all the time. And on day two, I hardly heard the names of those more maverick disruptors at all. And I think what had happened is, by coming together in such large numbers, we had gone from allowing ourselves to be on the back foot to being much more on the front foot, gaining in our confidence that what we are doing in our progressive leadership, decarbonizing, driving innovative, inclusive cultures is absolutely the right way to drive progress. I mean, yes, I had even seen posts myself on LinkedIn saying that, maybe the Musk Doge type approach is the way to get things done. And I'm thinking, my goodness, I mean, you might drive some progress, but you're going to break so many more things than you're going to get done. And let's face it, there is a lot of breaking happening both on the other side of the Atlantic, but we've hardly done so well on this side of the Atlantic. We've not done rather brilliant at building our infrastructure. I mean, look at projects like High Speed 2 that we haven't exactly done a great job of. We've done a lot better at building clean power infrastructure like offshore wind. And look, this notion that by delaying such major infrastructure projects, or indeed delaying clean power beyond 2050, and that somehow saves money, is complete nonsense. It ends up costing us more, and we lose today's opportunity. So, we concluded the best way to drive progress, our differentiator in this world right now, is to stay in the center ground and get things done, to make sure we are building clean power, accelerating it, inclusive growth, and showing how our growth ultimately is the best type of growth that creates opportunities and jobs for people up and down the nation. And that really just brings me to a couple of final points. And that's another thing that I heard said from so many panels, which is, we do have to shout about the good things we do so much more. Around the room, there were so many examples of organizations, be they charitable, be they business organizations, of the amazing things they do to create value for broader society. But we don't shout about them. We put ourselves on the back foot. And like we did at the conference, we've got to put ourselves on the front foot. And the second thing is that we've got to include more leaders in this conversation. They might be younger leaders, or they might just be voices that have not been so vocal. And therefore, I do think that vocL as a platform, which I'm proud to have co-founded, and we had some brilliant vocal voices, as we call them, at this conference, mingling and speaking. And I can tell you, their voices were absolutely amazing. And we need to bring more of these newer voices into the conversation, because it's about strength in numbers that we as the progressive leaders are going to show how positive change is made, good economic growth, good jobs, and ultimately a better Britain.